For somebody that was only watching the last couple of years of CS, it's not Nivera ScreaM's brother, it's ScreaM is Nivera. Like, he has a good tenure in CS. And the only reason why I guess he was out of his team is because they changed the rules on having 6-man rosters, so he was the one to go. So he's not like a washed player that was dropped because he was bad. He was great. And it's how he sort of plays and supports. It's a real trial by fire playing on that sentinel role on a map like this.
Yep.
But OBG's comp is like from a year ago.
Well, if the game developer doesn't support the scene properly, you sometimes lose players swapping games. And now that is a shock dart by the box. Spike is already getting a good bit of damage. And Nivera starting off with a triple. If this man starts his career with an ace, I'm speechless. This cannot happen. This is scripted. This is unreal. This is a fantasy world. But he's going for it. I kind of wish it. I kind of want to see that he will dare to do it. It would be not describable that this man starts his career like that. Swing it, see the shoulder, do me the favor, stab her, and he should get it. Please do me the favor. Nivera swing, let it do it, and he gets that ace. How do you want to start a career with a bang?
Yeah, pay attention to this guy. He's pretty good. I can only imagine the moment in like the Liquid vlog when they go over this. Like, what a start. The first ever round, and it's an absolute cleanup on an OBG. I think it's fair to say for OBG, expectations in this tournament are not high. They're probably likely to be the team that bottoms out in the lower bracket, to say the very least. The thing is that this is a good sort of test ground for Team Liquid to try out this map in particular. The fact that they've kind of just changed a couple of things. For me, the big thing is Soulcast, actually. He is a fantastic Sky. His Silver in the past has left a lot to be desired. How often are we going to see him on this agent now? And is it going to live up to the same level as his Sky? And obviously, Sky was nerfed before as well, so that might be a reason.
True. I mean, the thing is with OBG, when talking to Zeddy, he said, I mean, we're playing the system for like 7 days. We're boot camping right now. And obviously then the expectations aren't that high for a good reason. And I think nobody is infuriated by OBG in case this doesn't go their way. At the same time, you can expect a surprise every single time. And Zeddy sneaking up here a short, just looking for a frag, maybe somebody overextending. But patience is key. And ScreaM, he's just chilling near the tree.
I think he's another player that's, you know, died around different agents. So if we see him consistently on the controller, that'll be an interesting look as well. Zeddy has always been that. Actually, I think his Astra on Forza was pretty impactful. It had its moments. So the Omen is an interesting choice. And, well, ScreaM's just going to find maybe a little more than he bargained for. Tries to dismiss, but Coffee's there to chase up. But he just sets up Link perfectly. Just losing a one player here. Yampi's onto low health. You don't want him to go down at the same time. He is over on that A site on the back of the generator. Link, maybe he wanted an ace as well at that point, but I think the fact that they only lost one play in the last 2 rounds really does say a lot about how Team Liquid are looking to take this one clean.
I mean, we're coming in today and we're thinking like, I mean, the real debut of the day, that will be Nivera. But at the same time, it's the first time ever, if I'm not totally wrong, that we see Astra coming in for Liquid. Never seen that before. Never, ever. Not once. Not a single time composition was coming in and used probably one of the best controllers existing in the game right now. And that's also a crazy change. And it's finally time where they realized how valuable that agent is, because Link, otherwise usually being that kind of Omen guy, it's the better agent. Trust me.
I think a player to watch is Mincer. It's if he has that impact overall. Whether he can, you know, sneak in, try and catch somebody in a position. But the OBG wanted to keep him says a lot about how much potential he could have, but he's about to peek into 2 players, one of which has utility in hand. I wasn't expecting it. He finds the god timing onto both those 2 players. And, you know, a few of those cracks that we see from TL starting to show, but Link's there to just make sure it doesn't get too out of hand. Bear in mind, it's still a pretty low buy for TL as well.
Soulcast getting a lot of information there. We've seen great impact throughout the day by awesome Sova players.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Soulcast to sort of have that momentum.
From Leo, for example, that we saw. So.
Yeah, I mean, worked out perfectly. And maybe Link's the same on this controller roll.
That's
the disabate, that's what we're calling it. Nice little, not quite a swoop peek because you don't have the Viper, but it's a nice idea, and he continues to be a menace.
No way. 3 rounds in, 2 players getting an ace. I mean, Team Liquid is starting off with a bang and a boom. That's insane what they're delivering right now.
Okay, so we've got the brothers buff and we've got the bald buff for Link.
Perfect.
That's it. It's
What
just
else?
like, they're the 2 things line up.
Yeah.
Trinity, you're welcome.
I'm a little bit worried that this could be a routing because there is no way in hell, considering Minter does so well to make that much space, that it should work out this way.
And what KAKAK said on the desk, that there were people reporting that in scrims, Link has been an absolute machine. And that very much showed that
4K
exactly
and an
is the
ace.
case. Yep. It's... Seems like the Union Jack back on track.
Spike, similar to what we said about Mincer, just that player that OBG wanted to keep. He has to show up, he has to be that player in impact, and a frenzy kill against a bigger weapon onto ScreaM isn't a bad way to get into the heads, maybe, but Navira's now looking to clean up. How many more can he possibly get at this point? The headshot's nice, but Zeddy connects with the Sheriff and is going to push on a little bit more. I don't know if Liquid are going to expect this, but they're not really keeping a keen eye on this spot.
Yampy does, but you know, those close range duels can sometimes be... No way, that's so... No way, he's in double zoom or even single zoom and still doesn't see if that's so awkward. And Yampy's gonna rewatch that one and be like, that didn't happen. And hopefully they were not on me with the cam.
OBG want to try and leverage their space towards A, and they can do that. Soulcast does find that sort of late rotate from Zeddy, so there's no smokes available now, other than some cyber cages that can be placed. Now let's see what, I suppose, Link's Astra's utility is like here. How well he sort of circles and cycles all of this util. It's just that one bit of util that was in the site. It hasn't really had much follow-through. The Cosmic Divide is available, but realistically, do they want to use it? How comfortable do they feel? It's 2 Sheriffs are up against.
And the thing is, he can use every single ability right now. He got 4 stars left, place is free, coming in, information gained, and that is Yuyeon who wins the duel against Soulcast. Now the 1 versus 1 is where you don't want to see OBG succeed as Liquid when they have this kind of fight. He's swinging around, right click it is, and Link just comes bunny hopping in. Bunny humping? No, goodness, I'll see it. I see myself in the green room tomorrow with Mitch.
I mean, what Mitch has said in broadcast previously has been worse than that.
It doesn't matter for him.
The slip up.
It doesn't matter for him.
It's going on his soundboard. 10-0. Like, he hasn't died. He's got 500 ACS. He has transcended at this point because I feel like this is Team Liquid still warming up. Like, it's nice to see them perform this well on Ascent. Yeah. Going into Guild are going to ban this map out if we see Team... I don't want to talk about the series ahead of this one because we're only 5 rounds in.
Yep.
It's nice to see the Team Liquid have sort of returned to form on this map, despite not changing that much. Like, other than the Astra change, it is a pretty cookie-cutter vanilla composition. You know, no Sky, no KO or anything like that. It's just the Astra.
It's Navira, though, finally swapping up, and he's the second op. I mean, obviously, in CS, you saw him use that big green, as they call it there, being his magic tool, but it's going to be interesting how he's playing it in this game. So far, he had that 1 flawless round, otherwise he wasn't needed. Liquid got all under control for now. With the 4-0 start, though, OBG, they're just waiting in front of the gates of A.
Be patient, they can hold it. And I guess it's a good stress test of how double opping can be successful. I mean, at this point, I think Team Liquid's money is going to be relatively comfortable, unless we see OBG going on a bit of a tear. Considering, really, there's only 1 flash available for OBG. Just having the paranoia, which is still available to Zeddy, it's good at removing the operator for a second. That's kind of about it. Yep. Removing 2?
30 seconds left.
Well, I think this could just be an op montage coming in for Yampy, if it isn't for Spike having his own.
True, and there it comes, Coffee. Oh no, they're not finding that dart in time, and that's a bit problematic. Good one to get that shock dart down and elbow. But the retake, that thing's definitely on. ScreaM was still wandering around the A side. Nice try, but not according to plan. And that retake, let's see how it works. The lockdown is going to come in. The players now moving out of the site as they focus on B main. Ugyon's the only one who's close, pushing for the smoke. Oh, this could be good. Oh, this could be nice, but it's only Link he finds. And so the retake's still on. They know that he needs to be somewhere around. Nobody is detained. It is Coffee who's just waiting back in Boathouse, and there's the ping. They know about one player for sure. Zeddy is the other problem because they don't have him on the radar at all. Finds one, but if they isolate it, it could work well. Zeddy has to be eliminated, and that is the case. Spike's diffused with ease.
It was a good attempt, though, for OBG. I like the fact that Zeddy found good timing, but he was dealt with quickly. And I think as soon as he turns into the last player, Team Liquid do a good job of just getting that control back. Good retake. The double op, it worked to an extent. It had that impact. I think the fact that, like, Yampi only has 1 kill in the end so far is just, you know, indicative of the Team Liquid sort of aspect of it now, where Yampi doesn't have to be insane for Team Liquid to look good. Every player has that potential to pop off a little bit. OBG having to call a timeout. Recently added Jonta, ex-Heretics, ex-FPX coach. At the very least, I do think that OBG is going to struggle in this tournament, but I would like to see this group of players and Jonta as the coach work on stuff and be ready for the CIS region in 2022.
Totally.
No matter how the circuit, the format, whatever we get next year, I want to see this OBG team in it. I'd hate them to just disband after this tournament thinking, there's only so much we can do.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge amount of potential in these guys, and I think a coach like Jonta could pave the way for them, especially in a now competitive region with Na'Vi and, of course, Nampa.
Totally. Specifically mentioning that's a crucial point. I mean, talking to Zeddy, he mentioned Jonta's helping him creating that space of OBG from scratch. He's really thankful for his existence in the team as he's helping him setting it up, making it possible. And I think that's a crucial thing, right? Because you are aware of in what situation you are. This is the perfect time to figure out how you work as a team and officials. Liquid is definitely not the easiest start, that's for sure.
And Liquid as well, we aren't quite sure what to get. Even just a map choice is going to raise some eyebrows from a lot of people that watch the scene, unless you're obviously ScreaM in Liquid.
Get out of my way!
Vera, the style, the ideas. This is a map that you can really come into no prep with when it comes to some of the defaults and set strategies. Just everything's a little bit different. Liquid, Link are gonna get caught out a little bit quickly. Spike just wanted to close the gap, and Vera's watching and just keeping an eye on with the off.
Maybe ScreaM hasn't been spotted yet. Back in line he stands, and the Cypher all is coming a millisecond too late. It's buying good enough time. Navera is whiffing one of the shots, but he's moving backwards, tries to go for the wallbang. This is where you see where he might be a little bit new, as that is obviously not going through, but is obviously ScreaM who's making them all a little nervous.
One enemy
And
remaining.
then feeble. The attack that looks so nice for OBG, but it's still Zeddy who's on it. One frag found, and he tries to use his ult, but that ain't happening.
He considered it, then realized it was a silly idea as he was punished for it.
Oh, look at him. Good time, good mood. That's what you want to see.
Would be has been a great start for Navera's competitive career. 10-2 is not a bad scoreline to have 6-0 up. And I think he has been pivotal. And I think it's difficult as well because Cryptix was not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. Was he as loud and creative, I suppose, as players like ScreaM? No, he was just Mr. Consistent. He did his job, and he did his job perfectly. Vera, you got a bit more up in. You've just got that mechanical skill and a bit more experience from the high rise of Vitality in CS. It's worth a try. And knowing Sliggy and how he's approached the team in the past, they love to try stuff out.
Very much indeed. And Navera, a good start here to Spike. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that kind of start of the round, the ace he got in the pistol round, I think the Team Liquid video editor is like, thank you for that script.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
Thank you very much for that. I don't need to, I can shut off the stream. I got all I wanted.
Just let me know when you're done,
Yep.
sort of thing. I do think as well, it's interesting to see the Killjoy up, because that is something that we saw Yampi doing in the past as well. Stage 2 against FPX on Haven.
Exactly.
Going there later. But it does mean that Yampi can still be able to be on that jet, have that impact, be that entry when needed. And this double up, you're not going to be able to afford this in most games. But it is good to know that it does work, and it has been problematic for OBG. But everything's been problematic for OBG.
Unfortunately, that's true. Yes, it has been problematic for OBG. Good lineup,
left.
good utility. Yampi whiffing his shot, but he's definitely going to buy up for his team. 2 operators waiting there on the side. ADEK could get a little uncomfortable. But Is he ready for Zeddy? He might, I mean, he should be, considering that he heard that door close. Easy one coming in, doesn't know the timing of his own smoke. That is a little odd.
One enemy remaining.
And as Hugion is the last man standing, Hudson stands no chance. 7-0 it is. And to be honest with you, Ryan, my biggest worry was that we have this Yumpy kind of start with Naira. You know, where it was a little weird to watch him from time to time, where you saw he has mechanical skill, but getting into the space of Valorant was something that takes time.
Yeah, you almost want to see Navera struggling just a little bit, so Sliggy afterwards can go, all right, you need to sort of focus on this a bit, and he goes, yeah, fair enough. Like, leaves this game with something. If he's like 40-2 by the end of it, Sliggy's gonna be like, you played great. Then going into the game against Guild, if they win, you have to like quickly adapt. I don't think they've really been punished. We haven't seen Navera sweat a little bit, but really, Liquid haven't had much problem so far. ScreaM is just out in the open, ready to face. He's hungry for a little bit more, despite being down to 21 HP. Spike dying early, I don't think there's anybody realistically there to try and follow up.
Yeah, if you add a little bit of spice called confidence in that recipe named ScreaM, it's becoming problematic as an opponent. I think it's a nice way to put it. It's a very nice way to put it.
You've got 3 players over on A, you've got an up in mid playing off an alarm bot, you've got some Killjoy utility over on B, and an up there. I gotta say as well, if you're OBG at this point and you're struggling against double ups, it must be tilting. It must be just really difficult to sort of keep your mental high when it's going this awkwardly.
Yep.
Like, there's still a chance. Team Liquid on this defense have looked fantastic. I am very curious on Team Liquid's attack as well, because that's usually much like Guild, where they come by the wayside a little bit.
True, something they have been massively struggling with. Their system just not getting anything done, but all right, that's one hell of a revive. It's only Link back there holding the A side for the moment. He gets one, spikes down, and the support of Soulcast in the form of the Huntress Fury is there. Another one from Link, as you saw Spike being tacked up, an easy one indeed. They are in a fabulous state, Team Liquid, right now. There is hardly any mistakes. There's not like, it doesn't even look like they're too chill in this, where they're overconfident. That one peek from ScreaM was well deserved. Backed off, said, okay, I got enough now, and now it's about buying time.
Spike down.
It's the little tag
One enemy
that Link is able to play off of. It's been a disaster for OBG. Dream for ScreaM and the rest of Team Liquid when it comes to Navera's debut. It's been a nightmare for OBG. Their first time on an English broadcast as well, which is why a lot of people will be maybe confused as why they're here. But you might recognize Coffee, Zeddy, Hugion. They played on Forza. They had a pretty decent run. I mean, they beat FPX. You know, like, that's worth talking about. Not much time to prep. I think a week realistically we've had boot camping was what OBG's been running on. I think Liquid's been running with Navera for quite some time now.
I think so too. As far as I heard, there was some stuff happening even behind after Iceland. So, nevertheless, Spike taking out Soulcast. Link is gonna get Spike as well, but suddenly there's a man advantage existing in OBG. With the weak weaponry they have, they are still in a quite decent position for the moment.
Found them.
Navera missed, just missed onto Hugion. It pulled ahead. The alarm bot was a little bit misleading.
That's the right
Yampy, he's been quiet because he's frankly just been able to sit there with an up and hold an angle. Like, he's not kind of like Waddell or push up and try and scale. He's going to do it now because they still have this little advantage. See what ScreaM and Yampy can do.
Well, they're coming out. ScreaM, as blinded as his opponent down there is. Good wall back there on Coffee. Unfortunately, it didn't connect. And he's considering. He's weighing up his option, finds one. Brilliant stuff. He's baiting a little bit. Yampy, your turn. Ain't happening. But they're retaking the side right now, and they're taking the right moves. 2 players to the right-hand side. ScreaM's on fire. The man's popping off. You got some new energy collected. And Yampy, it's your turn. Thank you very much for that one, mate. Excellent stuff. I mean, ScreaM is on point. Like, on point. But the question is, who of Team Liquid seems not to be on point right now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a bad buy for OBG, so
sure,
maybe a little bit, but I think you're just being pedantic at that point. Like, Yampy 4-4, but I think we've seen Yampi plays so much better, especially when you're IGLing to an extent at the same time. I don't imagine it's the same kind of IGLing that we'd see out Bonka. To just be holding an angle, just holding it patiently. Let the rest of your team do the work. You just do your... It's like, like a warded league almost. Just get that information and hold it down.
I'm really looking forward to how he will develop on that role, honestly, because if there's one talking point that you could call a weakness for Team Liquid, it has been the IGL situation they're in. And maybe it will be actually Ampi performing wonders with this team. We're going to find out. It's going to be interesting. And maybe if they win this tournament, we're even going to see how they will perform on the international stage. But we're staying in the present as OBG consider to make an A-side push.
Just been textbook for Liquid, you know. This has been the same sort of default and play. They know that Coffee likes to use the wall to boost up. The Hunter's Fury used on attack to try and create space has done absolutely none of that. ScreaM is just happy to play. Got the Empress before he knows that somebody's going to be on the high ground. And the 4K is wanted. He needs to reload, but he just sets up his brother. He's like, have another one. We're 10-0 up.
Look at him. He's having such a good time.
Yeah, it is a great warm-up, and it sucks to call OBG that, but you can't argue that Team Liquid are on another level at this point. And Liquid are a team that do 13-0 and 13-1 teams frequently.
One enemy remaining.
In the background, if you look at the cam, you see the video edited there. He's really having a good time, same as Liquid does. OBG is in a very unfortunate state at the moment. Really, there's nothing they can do. Nothing. And such executes they are so simple, right? But at the same time, they are so simple that somebody who's having a good day like ScreaM has can just pluck off heads one by one by one.
It's just solid Valorant.
Yeah,
and I think the thing that I've liked the most about watching Liquid here is there's a bit of that G2 riffing on the spot. The improvisation, like that's nice. ScreaM just sort of playing off another player baiting. Really, OBG should be aware that that kind of thing can happen. It's a common, dangerous place to play from. But we've seen the regular setups, the textbook stuff, the gravity well, having Nivera peek off of it. Then there's just a couple of moments where they go, oh, that's quite interesting. Just on-the-fly thinking, which you never really see out of Liquid.
One enemy remaining.
Another flawless coming in, and OBG, who made it close in one of the previous rounds when they just got a Sheriff's. No chance this time around. Flawless from Team Liquid.
Last round before the
And it's really not that Liquid overcomplicates things in any sense. They're really playing just based on their strengths and the strengths they have. And this, at the point in time, is just taking duels confidently, but confidently with real good game sense and intelligence. And that's what you want to see with those players.
I also like for something like Nivera, when you have an up on the Killjoy, you don't play, I'm not going to say stupid positions, but you don't play like on an A site and then you get ran over by an execute. He's always just playing off of somewhere. It means that if we see OBG going for an insane execute, I know it's Yampi now, but he could just pull off of it. Soulcast is in a more dangerous area, but he can afford to be. He wants to pull attention for ScreaM. And with the Killjoy lockdown, it is a retake that's available. Cosmic Divide will maybe help to get a bit closer to the site to put the lockdown on so it doesn't get wallbanged. Spike needs to try and create that space, and the lockdown isn't going to be used, but the Cosmic Divide does get planted.
Yep. Very much indeed. Yampi is getting Spike at least. One more close. That could work for him. One bullet is enough. Gets the Sheriff out. This is going to plug up some hits. That ain't happening. Coffee is running out of bullets. Number 12 for Team Liquid. And there you see that a Jet doesn't need to be on top of the scoreboard to have its impact.
The big concern I had for the OBG team overall is bringing in Spike, you take Coffee off that duelist role. He can play a lot of stuff. He is very flexible in his agent pool, so I think that's a nice double duelist role to have. Always having Spike on the Jet, Coffee can play whatever. I don't think the Sage has been that useful. I think his Sky's been pretty decent. He's also played a bit of Euro in the past. He has found no success today. And a 13-0 is the first map with his team. That's a lot of work for Jonathan and the rest of OBG to work on in such a short space of time. And also playing up against Supermassive Blaze in the lower bracket. That, to me, is... They're two nightmare teams. They drew the short straw when it came to the bracket, that's for sure.
And you gotta say, Supermassive Blaze today also showed that they're one hell of a team. Most definitely individually strong. But let's see. Maybe we're gonna get a magic comeback. 12-12 overtime. Right, it's all possible.
I would love that. I'd
Would
love
you?
to be proven wrong, believe it or not. I'm happy to see OBG come online, but I just can't imagine this is easy for anybody involved. It's such a short turnaround against a team that has been at international lands and is a hair away from qualifying from points anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Team Liquid have a point to prove, and that 13-0 would definitely do that.
That's true. It has been a big discussion in Europe about Liquid and their state after we saw them in Challenger playoffs. And, well, they were close, but Gambit was the stronger team. And at the end, the winners of Masters Berlin. But right now, they are delivering a stellar performance. Soulcaz and the boys are setting themselves up for the B-side execute.
Yampy's dash there was a bit weird.
That's true.
He maybe fat-fingered it unless he felt
30
like he wasn't
seconds
safe
left.
from short. Perhaps, but Hugyeon, he doesn't have to recon die. It was used 15 seconds ago and just takes a peek. Link is expecting it. Coffee playing from the backside. It's not looking good. I'd love to see more Liquid attacking rounds to see what they've been working on, but we might just get the one at this point, especially if ScreaM is able to find a few more kills.
Enemy
True,
remaining.
but at the same time, it doesn't look like we're getting any of that. No chance at all. That's not going to happen. A 13-0. We were